Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Stumbrum. I'm Artistic Director at Dance Cleveland, and today I'm joined by Rodney Hill, who is the company manager for Rennie Harris Pure Movement. Hi, Rodney.
Hello, nice to meet everybody.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
So,
no problem.
so tell me, where are you traveling right now? I know that you're on the road.
Yeah, so we are presently in Lewiston, Maine. If anyone doesn't know where that is, we're at Bates College, so that's like what 3 hours from Boston. Yeah, it's a
And
nice.
then are you headed to us right after that?
Yes, and we're coming to Dance Cleveland right.
Woohoo! We're
We,
so excited to have you.
Yeah, we're excited too. Like it's been a minute since we've been back there, but Dance Cleveland has really been supportive and not only supporting Rennie Harris's vision, but also supporting the diversity and the inclusion of dance in the community around Dance Cleveland. So we're very blessed
Oh, thanks.
to be a part of that. So.
Well, we're excited to have you. Rennie Harris, of course, was founded in 1992 by Rennie Harris himself. And we actually were I would say, one of the first major presenters of Rennie Harris Pure Movement. Back in 1998, we brought you to Kane Park.
Yeah.
And I remember that performance. I think then it was not as traditional to see hip hop dance on a presenting series of a modern and contemporary dance presenter. But we're really proud that we brought you guys, and we're really excited to have you back alongside all the other companies on our season. I think Rennie Harris has just amazed people with the artistry, and he's gone on to, of course, choreograph for companies like Alvin Ailey and many others. So we're really, really excited to have you back. And this time we're bringing a piece called Nothing But a Word, different program that we've had than previously. But it's the evening length piece, and we're really excited to see it. So before we jump in, give me a little bit of background on Rennie Harris Pure Movement, the company itself, and maybe its beginnings for those of our audience members who don't know.
Okay, so Rennie Harris Pure Movement, yes, started and formed in like 1992, and I think like Rennie didn't set out to make a company, because he was a street dancer and doing a lot of other things, and wasn't really meant to be. But basically, the company 1992 bringing raw hip hop street dance theater movement to the stage, telling stories. Same thing if you went to go see Nutcracker or anything like that. But at this time, people haven't really seen a company such as this on a proscenium stage. So yeah, so companies from Philadelphia, and it started out with of course, like the alumni members, Dwayne, Cricket, Bless, Ron, a bunch of other people. But what was dope about Pure Movement was that not only it was just a hip hop street dance theater company, it was like a family. Not was, but it's like a family. You get in and you get to not only learn about the hip hop culture, but you get to learn a little bit about yourself as well. So that's just to give you a little background on Rennie Harris Pure Movement. The other thing is too, Rennie Harris was a part of the Dance Africa, that whole lineage series, and touring around the country with Baba Chuck Davis and doing Dance Africa. And a lot of people got to see the company that way as well. And they went on to do a lot of different festivals. The Stiletto Festival, ADF Festival, Bates Festival, of course, Dance Africa, but a lot of different festivals, and people, hearing and seeing the company, they were like really excited, like, wow, this is something new to them, but it's owed to us, you know.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's what's so unique about the company is I think most people think of hip hop dance as like street dance only, but it's been amazing to see, like you said, he really takes the choreography and creates stories, but also straight stays really true to the hip hop movement itself. Um, and authentic. I would say it's like authentic hip hop dance.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's authentic. But you know, some of his peers may say, "Oh man, Winnie, that's not hip hop," you know. And you know, actually, it is hip hop because hip hop is meant to be progressive. It's not meant to stay stagnant.
Mhm.
So, like
Great
even
point.
now, yeah, you know, even now when people when you see where hip hop is now, you know, I may not identify with some of the stuff that's happening now, but it is hip hop, you know. So it's the same way that my parents looked at us when we were doing it, you know. So it's the same way now. Like it just keeps going and going, and it's meant to be progressive, like Rennie says, you know, when you go out in a cipher battle, you know, you're not going to do the same thing twice. You're going to do something different. The way we switch our sneakers up is the way we switch our dance styles up. You know, you always got to be fresh.
Yeah.
Always, you know, hip means to be hip. You know, your hip means knowledge. Like you hip to what's going on. You know, you're hopping around, hopping around to the different clubs or around town, and you know, so.
And can you give me, I mean, so I know what these terms mean, but a lot of I think our audience don't know like what's a cipher. Um, we've been really trying to understand the language of dance. I mean, for example, a cipher might not mean anything to one audience member, but modern dance might not mean something to another audience member. You know, when we say modern dance, people think it has to be something that was created recently. Well, that's not necessarily true, even though we're using the word modern. And I think that language around how we talk about dance is so important. So can you tell me a little bit about like what is a cipher? And when you say hopping around to multiple events, I think some of our audiences maybe don't know about hip hop dance culture. You know, what would you normally do when you say hopping around to multiple events?
Yeah, and that's the way I use it. But you know, when you look at it in terms, that's what you're doing. Like you just stand in the know, and that's to be hit when you stay in the noun and what's happening now. You know, Rennie tells a story with Carl Canal. He's you know, he's one of the first like you know hip hop clothing designers, and everybody's wearing Carl Canal. And one of the reasons why he stopped is because he said he couldn't keep up with the hip hop culture because it was changing all the time. So you got to keep changing the style of the clothing because you know next week somebody's going to come out and they're going to be something everybody's you know going to gravitate to that. But to your point as far as the cipher, that's you know it's like West African. If you go back to West African culture and the African diaspora, like you know in the villages and stuff like that, when they would like you know have their ceremonies, they will be in the cipher. You know, for the stage, you know, the cipher may be considered like a half moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you
Mm-hmm.
know when you're but a cipher in the party is circles only a half moon, like if you're doing it on a proscenium stage, because people have to see what's happening. You know what I mean? So you shifting it and changing it. But the cipher is where you get to come in and you get to do anything that you want to do inside that cipher circle, you know, and that's how a lot of people like myself learned how to dance. So when you go in the cipher circle, you do stuff and everybody is just energy and good vibes is bouncing off of everyone that's in that cipher circle, you know, and it's the support system. So this is where you can learn all of the latest social dances. This is where you can just dance and let the music just take you somewhere else and be real creative. You don't have to worry about what people think and the way you move or you don't have to be self-conscious about who you are. And that's what that cipher circle does for you, you know. So, and normally people, you know, gather in ciphers at parties, you know, block parties, any kind of social gathering, a club, you know, and even when people are hitting on the streets, that's the first thing that happens. Everybody just automatically whether you white, Indian, Asian, everybody just go and gathers around it, and it's automatic, a circle. So
Yeah.
and has been a lineage passed down, like I said, way dating back, you know, uh, you know, years and years ago.
Mhm. And I love that idea of like, for a proscenium march stage, obviously we're going to be seeing you on stage. Um, but I think that idea of like bouncing the energy back and forth, I think
Mhm.
the dancers on stage will feel that energy from the other side, from the audience. It's like we have to finish out that circle as an audience and create
Yeah,
that cipher experience, even though the hip hop's happening on stage. So I
yeah.
love that idea. So let's shift gears. You talked about how you started in a cipher. Tell me a little bit, like, what was your dance background, and how did you come to be the company manager of Rennie Harris Peer Movement?
Okay, it's a long story, but I'm gonna make it short.
All right, we'll get the cliff note.
Um, yeah. I'm from North Philadelphia, same neighborhood as Rennie. Rennie knew me since I was about 5, 6 years old, and everybody knew of Rennie. And Rennie was in a group called the Scanner Boys, and they're very popular, always on TV. Doing, Rennie was in one of the first rap festival tours, which was called the Fresh Fest tour. So you growing up and you seeing it, and then people like Rennie and other people, and it comes from the Philadelphia area. Another group called the Philadelphia Floor Takers, which my brother was a part of. There was a GQ stepping group, and that's kind of like how I got started. Just seeing all of the stuff around me, and I started like dancing like in like 83.
Okay.
Just really dancing. And then when I got out of high school in 1993, 92, I turned professional. And the professional meaning that, I was like, you know, going on, doing Showtime at the Apollo and all these different things with my group, the Untouchables. And we danced for people such as Eve, Teddy Pendergrass. We opened up shows for LL Cool J. I went on tour with Mary J. Blige. Um, who else? A lot of Drew Hill, just a lot of artists. That's kind of like how I got my start. And then with Rennie hearing a lot about what we were doing, he was like, "Hey man, I got this tour. I want y'all to come check out my festival. It's called the Illidale Festival, but I want y'all to come check out this production that I'm doing, and it's called Roman Jewels, like 1992. I came. That's the first time I ever saw hip hop shaped and molded, done in a different way, like through a different lens from the way I see it. You know what I mean? That blew me away. And then he was like, "Look, I want you guys to, go on this tour with me. Y'all can do a couple of dates, and then y'all can decide after that." Long after that, I decided to stay because I fell in love with the performing arts world, because I felt like they appreciate your artistry more, because hip hop, people see you today like, "Oh man, you was amazing." Then tomorrow it's like, "Okay, so what you got next?" So I
For that competition
yeah,
style.
right.
Yeah.
So I kept going, and Rennie said, "Hey man, you want to be my costume director?" So I was in charge of all of the costumes, and then after that, he made me tour manager. And then I left for a little while, and then he's like, "Hey man, I want you to come back, and I want you to manage my companies, because he saw what I was doing with a lot of other people outside of just Rennie Harris Pure Movement." So that's how I became the manager and director of Rennie Harris Pure Movement. Plus, like, he was comfortable with me because the years that I was in the company, I learned a lot about the company, learned a lot about his pedagogy and stuff like that, and the way he likes to run his company. And he's like, "Look, I need someone to, you know, to do that." So that's why I'm still here to now.
Awesome. And I mean, as a company manager, you have to do a lot of things like organizing the tour and organizing, all the behind the scenes that go on. I think that people forget, you see a performance for maybe 1 hour on stage, but how many hours went into planning that tour and the production, let alone the choreography that Rennie has created. But yeah, all the logistics. So company managers are extremely important.
Yes, I mean, I put the it's been like 10 years, 8 years ago. He was like, look, come in. And he's like, I want you to start booking shows.
Mhm.
You can do it, man. Or you know what I do. And he showed me some things. Showed me
Mhm.
certain language to use, and then I started booking shows for the company, and I'm working alongside with an agent as well, and then learning a lot from that side too, because it helps when you're talking to presenters
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So yeah, and putting these tours together. Leave one
Mhm.
page, go to the next, and I also help with the taxes with the company, making sure
Right.
all the bills are paid, making sure the payroll is paid,
Mhm.
keeping, you hire bookkeeping companies to do this, but I also keep up the bookkeeping. I watch the money go in and out. So I'm like a one man
Yep,
band.
one-stop shop.
know,
And I think, for our younger audiences who are watching this, maybe they're dancers, maybe they're dancers in college trying to navigate, do they want to dance professionally or do they want to do something else? I always like to highlight these positions because even if you're not a professional dancer, you can still be involved in the dance world
Right.
in formats such as these. So thank you for sharing your story. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about Nothing But a Word. Tell me about the piece and what you guys hope, what the company, what Rennie hopes that people take away from the piece after the show.
Yeah, I mean, Nothing But a Word was it was created to really take the audience that's looking through what we do through a different lens, take them through a journey to see um, how hip hop movement is, how it changes, and how it looks different on a proscenium stage. Um, in an untraditional way for us as street dancers.
Mhm.
The movement that we do, the hip hop street dance theater, hip hop street dance movement that we do, can look different when you're doing it to different music.
Mhm.
And when you shaping it and molding it for a proscenium stage. So Rennie, so basically, reason why it's called Nothing But a Word is because that's what we say in the streets when someone say, "Yo, man, I'm a killer." Oh, okay, you just did that move. Okay, you ain't saying nothing but a word. Watch out. Watch, see what I do next. So that's why it was called Nothing But a Word. So that's the same thing with the audience. Like, okay, they may hear, like, we have one of the songs is about Al Jarreau. God bless him. He It's called Round and Round. And when people hear the record, they're like, "Oh my goodness, like what they gonna do to this?" So it's like, okay, you'll see, watch it. You ain't saying
Watch and
nothing.
see.
We want to show and prove. Which is why Rennie talks to the audience in between the different pieces. Um,
Right.
to kind of give people to help them understand what they're seeing and what they're looking at.
Mhm.
So Nothing But a Word is just, it challenges, the dancer that's doing movement to music, and that they would not normally, perform
Mhm.
to, and also the challenges that we go through as hip hop street dancers with uh, setting the choreography, um, and blocking the choreography out for proscenium stage, if
Mhm.
that makes sense, for
Yeah.
proscenium stage.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited to have you. I know Josh will be back for our audiences that know Josh from last year. He was here with Raphael Xavier, who also danced with Rennie Harris back in the day. So we have some returning dancers that people will be able to recognize on stage. And we're really excited to have you guys. There'll be a pre-show chat at 7:15 and a post-show Q&A for those who are attending the show. And we do still have tickets available for anyone to purchase through Kane Park. So
Sweet.
Rodney, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's been an honor to do this. I left one thing out. I wanted to,
Sure.
because you had asked me um, to tell your audience what Rennie want people
Yeah.
to take away from this performance. You know, Rennie doesn't really think about what he want the audience to take away from the performance. He wants you to create your own story for what you just saw. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Yeah. So create your own thing, because everybody has their own story and everybody has a certain way that they see things through your own lens. What I will say is, bring your family out to see the performance. It's going to be a family affair. It's a great show, and come out and have fun and be ready to party.
Yeah.
Want to get there on time because the first piece that we do is a traditional piece called Continuum, and you really get to see what these dancers are made of, and that actually sets the tone for Nothing But a Word. And that's why we start off with that, and it's sort of it has cipher moments in it. You know what I mean? So when they see it, they see what these dancers, what they
They're
can.
absolutely incredible. I mean, I know when I saw it in New York a couple years ago, the one dancer, I swear his hand was like on the other side of his body. I don't even know how he did it, but
yeah.
Yeah.
He was bone breaking.
Yeah.
There's a style called bone breaking. Yeah.
You have to watch like this.
Yeah. You're like, oh my God. So you talking about when you came to
the Joyce. Yeah, I saw it at the Joyce. It was just blown away. So I think our audiences are really gonna like it.
Yeah, that just so you know, his name is Kai, and that dancer, he's moved on. He's doing some other interesting stuff. You know what I mean? But yes, but the dancers that we're bringing to Dance Cleveland, y'all are gonna love them. We bring in a group called the Hood Lockers.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. So this is what I want everybody to do. Go to YouTube and punch in the Lockers, Don Campbell Lock and the Lockers. They are compared to the original Lockers, and these gentlemen, when they come to dance, they don't play no games. And an audience, y'all gonna love them. So
can't wait. We're so excited. So we will Google. We'll do our homework. We'll come.
Yes.
Thank you again, Rodney.
Have a good day. And we want to meet people after the show too. So please don't be shy. Okay, we want to meet y'all. We want to know who's coming out to support Dance Cleveland and what they do with diversity and inclusion and all that stuff. We want to see you. We want you out there. Okay, so come on your A game.
All right. Thanks, Rodney.
All right. Bye.
See you then.